This is what 8% to 30% body fat really looks like. 90% of guys watching this have no idea what their actual body fat percentage is. You think you're sitting at 15%. You're probably closer to 25%. And that gap is exactly why your fat loss goals keep failing. You're not 10 pounds away from the body you want. You're closer to 30. Worse than that, even the number itself lies to you, because 15% body fat on one guy can look completely different from 15% on another guy. Same number, two totally different bodies. So today we're going range by range, from the average guy at 30% all the way down to the danger zone almost nobody should actually live in. And by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand and exactly what it takes to move. 30%, the enviable average. Let's start where most men actually are, whether they admit it or not, 30% body fat. And here's what makes this range sneaky. You can hide it completely. Hoodie on, nobody notices. Slightly loose t-shirt, you blend right in. You might even tell yourself you're one good diet away from looking athletic. Then the shirt comes off, and the truth shows up. A belly that sits over the waistband, soft chest, shoulders with zero separation, no visible shape anywhere. This is the body that looks normal in every photo and surprises people on the scale. Health-wise, this is also where warning signs start stacking. Low energy, poor sleep, and testosterone that's quietly dropping without you noticing. But here's the silver lining nobody mentions. Dropping from 30 to 20 is the easiest stretch of the entire journey. You've got the most to lose, so your body gives it up fast. No obsessive tracking required. Just real food, daily walking, and lifting 2 or 3 times a week, done consistently for a few months, completely changes this picture. 25%, the panic zone. At 25%, the belly is undeniable now. Some softness across the chest. Arms that look soft even with muscle underneath. Maybe a faint shadow of the top 2 abs if you flex under perfect lighting. But that's it. And this is exactly where most guys make their first big mistake. They panic. They cut calories in half overnight, throw themselves on the treadmill every single day, and turn fat loss into punishment. It works for about 2 weeks. Then it collapses. Burnout hits. The old habits come roaring back, and they end up heavier than before they started. The boring truth is the only thing that actually works here. A modest deficit, high protein, lifting 3 times a week to protect the muscle you already have, and enough patience to let it unfold slowly. You're closer to looking lean than you think, but only if you don't sabotage it by rushing. Now here's where things get interesting, because the next range exposes something most guys never realize about their own bodies. 20%, the twin paradox. Picture 2 men. Same height, same weight, same exact body fat percentage, 20%. One has spent 3 years lifting consistently. Shoulders with shape, arms with some separation, a slight taper at the waist. The other has never touched a weight in his life. Same number on a scale, same body fat reading, and they look like they belong to 2 different species. I call this twin bird nice a Sir Lunsding Deefing 6 muscly and assume the answer is to cut harder. So they slash calories further and end up smaller, but not better. Just a quieter version of the same problem. That's because losing fat doesn't build shape. It only reveals shape that already exists. If there's nothing underneath, there's nothing to reveal. The fix at 20% isn't a brutal cut, it's recomposition. Eating just slightly below maintenance, keeping protein high, and training hard enough to build muscle while the fat slowly comes down in the background. Slow, unglamorous, and the only version that actually works long-term. 15%. Tipping point 15% is where the whole game shifts. The stomach flattens out, the waist tightens, shoulders start showing real separation, arms get definition, and forearm veins begin to show up in good lighting. Under the right conditions, you can actually start to make out the outline of abs. But this is also where casual effort stops being enough. Eating pretty clean doesn't cut it anymore. You need an actual deficit, some level of tracking, and consistent heavy lifting to hold onto the muscle while the fat keeps dropping. This is the range where people stop looking like someone who occasionally exercises and start looking like someone who's clearly building something on purpose. 12%, Where ABS stop being a flex, 12% is usually where the six-pack actually shows up without flexing for most guys, though not all, because some people see ab lines at 14% and others don't see them until 9%. That's not effort, that's genetics deciding where your body holds on to fat last. At 12, the waist is tight, shoulders look capped, arm definition is obvious, and forearm veins are basically a permanent feature now. But here's the catch nobody warns you about. Getting to 12 is one challenge. Staying there is a completely different one. At 15%, a weekend slip barely registers. At 12, every mistake leaves a fingerprint. The random binge, the healthy snack that's secretly 600 calories, the liquid calories you forgot to count, they all start showing up fast. You don't need monk-level discipline here, just real awareness of what's actually going into your mouth. 10%, the sweet spot for some, a trap for others. 10% is where a lot of guys picture the finished physique, and the jump from 15 down to 10 is genuinely massive. Abs become sharp without flexing, veins show up across the arms, and sometimes the lower abs, shoulders start looking three-dimensional, and the jawline sharpens too. But here's the part almost nobody says out loud. 10% only looks impressive if there's muscle sitting under it. Diet your way down to 10% without building anything first, and you don't end up looking like a superhero, you end up looking like a skeleton with a six-pack. Reaching this range demands real structure, progressive overload in the gym, because the leaner you get, the more your body starts questioning whether it even needs that muscle anymore, and disciplined nutrition that's sustainable, not extreme. The myth that 10% automatically means crushed hormones and zero energy is mostly false. That happens when people get there the wrong way, through starvation and no training. Get there the right way, and your body can function completely normally here for years. 8% and below, the stage-only zone. Below 8%, we're no longer talking about a healthy goal. We're talking about a temporary visual state. Every ab visible, veins everywhere, separation between muscles that looks almost unreal. This is the photo shoot, competition stage physique, but it comes at a real cost. Hormones crash, sleep falls apart, sex drive disappears, and below 6%, your body starts treating its own muscle as an emergency fuel source. This is exactly why competitive bodybuilders peak for one day, take the photo, and immediately start eating their way back up. They don't want to live here. Neither should you. So where should you actually aim? For most guys, somewhere between 12 and 15% is the realistic sweet spot. Lean, athletic, sustainable, and still flexible enough to enjoy your life. If you want that sharper, more dramatic look, 10% is achievable too, but it demands real structure behind it. The number that matters most isn't some Instagram standard, it's the one you can actually maintain without misery. If you don't know where you're starting from, figure that out before setting any goal, because chasing the wrong number is exactly how people burn out before they ever see results. Drop your honest guess in the comments, and if you want the exact training and eating plan to move down a tier the right way, that's coming next. Subscribe for more content.